actually a recent story. It's about the night that I almost lost the tip of my finger, which as a writer is a little harrowing, to say the least. It's called How to Lose Your Finger and Your Mind Too. It's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and I am drunk. I'm not belligerent. I'm not blacked out. I am good old-fashioned drunk. Santa Claus drunk. Happy Aunt Suze, who recently launched her own bedazzled handbag line after her liberating divorce drunk. American drunk. I'm inside a fabulous country western gay bar in the thick of Hell's Kitchen. The bar is called Flaming Saddles. Best bar name ever. I'm wearing a dress the color of Seattle wild salmon that has a very low neckline, and my boobs are spilling out of the top like two giant scoops of ice cream that cannot be sustained by their meat cone. Every 15 minutes or so, my wife informs me that my nipple is showing. Free the nipple, I slur like an idiot every time she pulls up my top. I then will proceed to look over at whoever is next to me and ask, why do we even sexualize women's nipples? As if I'm a freshman at an annoying liberal arts college fresh off of her first gender studies class. The bar is now covered with boys with beautiful bodies wearing nothing but tiny white undies and cowboy boots. They are line dancing across the table like the girls from Coyote Ugly. Shade never made anyone less gay, Taylor Swift screams through the speakers as a bunch of drunk, southern-bred gay boys lose their minds. They are yee-hawing and grinding on each other and dancing like prom queens and singing their queer hearts out and clearly having a reparative experience. I can't imagine that most country western bars in the South take kindly to gay boys who squeal to T Swift whilst clad in assless chaps, let's be real. I am watching years of trauma come undone right there on the dance floor. Oh, how I love gay bars. I suck down my drink and realize I'm speeding down the highway, heading towards a dangerous place. Some of you might be familiar with it. I like to call it Blackout City. So I really need to quit while I'm ahead and stay here in sweet, safe Buzzville, USA. Baby, let's go home, please, pretty please, I beg my wife, Megan. Megan looks very sexy and stylish and very New York in black denim and a shiny members-only jacket and pointy black boots. She is clutching her drink between her elegant fingers and her eyes gleam in that way that buzzed people's eyes gleam. Who are you and what have you done with my wife? Megan beams like a corny dad. I'll give it to her. It is very rare that I'm the one to initiate going home. Come on, she says, strutting towards the door. Her legs are so long, she looks like a cross between Bambi and a Russian supermodel. So I do what I do best. I smirk and I follow her. The door is heavy. It is an iron door that swings both ways, a bisexual door. I stop by the door to take a grounding moment so I can steady myself in my very high platform espadrilles, a trend that I am so over, by the way. I would rather take a bubble bath with Melania Trump than see another pair of goddamn espadrilles. My left hand rests by the hinge of the heavy door. My right hand is pressed against my hip because I'm trying to look sexy for my wife and all the gay boys that are littered across 9th Avenue, looking like sex on feet in their tank tops and jean shorts and Gucci slides. Then someone comes behind me and slams the door shut. The next thing I know, I am screaming. I fly out onto 9th Avenue and I see blood everywhere, bright, fire engine red blood. It looks like the kind of blood you would buy at one of those tacky Halloween shops that pop all over the tacky sex of 14th Street during the month of October. I stumble into a phone booth that reeks of crack and piss and rat shit. You guys have been to Hell's Kitchen. And my eyes fall downward towards my hand. The tip of my finger is dangling. My dress is covered in blood. My legs are covered in blood. Megan is covered in blood. My friend Luke runs into a bodega and comes out with a cup of ice. I am numb, no feeling. It reminds me of the time they gave me lidocaine before I got lip injections, and I couldn't feel my lips for 3 days and kept drooling my wine down the side of my face. Megan shoves my hand into the plastic cup. It's lavender. Since when do bodegas sell plastic lavender cups? How nice that would be. How lovely for a picnic. I hate those nasty red Solo cups the college kids use, don't you? The pretty lavender cup is instantly filled to the brim with my blood. I wish they had a nail polish this exact tone. I think of Diana Veerland, my icon. She was one of the great fashion editors, editor-in-chief of Vogue, who once said, "All my life, I've pursued the perfect red. I can never get painters to mix it for me. It's exactly as if I'd said, I want Rococo with a spot of Gothic and a little bit of Buddhist temple. They have no idea what I'm talking about, but the best red is to copy the color of a child's cap in any Renaissance portrait." I stay stuck on this thought to distract myself from the super unchic fact that we're going to the hospital, and I'm deeply terrified of all medical facilities. I always think they're gonna tell me I have 6 weeks to live or I'm pregnant. I mean, what if I blacked out and had sex with a guy? Look, this is how a demented, anxious brain works, okay? Or I'm scared they're gonna tell me I'm morbidly obese. This is how body dysmorphia works. The next thing I know, I'm in the hospital and everyone is yelling at me. Don't look at your finger, don't look at your finger, you'll faint. I don't look at my finger, not because I don't want to faint. I enjoy the occasional faint. Such 1950s movie star swag, you know? But I'd prefer to think about Diana Veerland and the fantasy of the fashion world back in the 60s and the 70s. I want my brain to swirl with thoughts of pretty things, quilted clutches, tortoiseshell sunglasses, couture gowns, supermodels, private jets, houses in Palm Springs. Not ugly things like a fingernail-less finger with the tip hanging off and gushing blood ruining everybody's outfits. Luke and Ryan suddenly come rushing through the doors of the emergency room. They are wide-eyed and they are gorgeous. Ryan is holding my Chanel bag. He's holding it protectively like it's a scared child whose mommy is currently hurt, which she is. We might have to do a partial amputation, the doctor. An attractive but nerdy 30-something says matter-of-factly to my wife. Suddenly, I forget about Diana Veerland and Chanel and the gorgeous gay boys who have come to my rescue. I'm a writer, I can't lose the tip of my finger, I scream. There is a guy in a prison uniform shackled to the bed next to me. I send him a dose of good energy before yelling again at the doctor. Seriously, I can't lose my finger, I have to write. Finally, I know what it feels like to be an injured ballerina. A secret, long-standing fantasy of mine. Not just being a ballerina, but an injured ballerina, hurt ballerina, a fallen ballerina. How glamorous and tragic and poetic is being an injured ballerina. Either way, babe, you're gonna have to take a break from writing, Megan says evenly, knowing that I'm about to erupt into flames. I mean, writing is all I have in this cruel, cold world. It's how I make my money. It's how I release the demons that plague this dyke soul. Without writing, the writing demons punish me and they curse me with terrible bouts of IBS. Without writing, I'm just another empty Jewish girl who lives in Midtown West, wondering why her life is so meaningless and why she has so many few real friends and why her meds aren't filling the gaping voids even though she's upped the dosage like 10 times. Without writing, I become physically and emotionally constipated. True story, physically too. Look, babe, at least you finished your book, Megan says brightly. I look at her long Bambi legs and I feel resentful. Not only does the bitch have legs up to her ears, but she also has working fingers. I hate her at that moment, but she's right. I handed in the first draft of my manuscript over to my editor on Friday. It's Saturday night, well, Sunday morning. I banged out that 95,000-word book in 3 weeks. I almost killed myself writing it, but I loved every second of it in that weird, masochistic, addictive, creative way that just hurt so good. I start laughing like a complete psychopath. Why are you laughing, Megan asks. It's just like the final FU from the publishing world. You'll lose your mind, your friends, your social life while writing this book, and your finger too, bitch. Maybe it's a sign, Megan whispers, her eyes lighting up like a mystic. I know she's right, but look, I'm not ready to go there, okay? We'll save that for when I'm covered in my weighted blanket high on Valium or something. Luke lowers his head and murmurs, they won't have to amputate, right? His long eyelashes sweep across the room, cleaning the energy of the room like his lashes are a broom. His lashes are in fact so pretty and so plush looking, I want to curl up in them and take a nice long nap. I make a mental note to ask him if he uses Latisse. Then the emergency room doors swing open. Time stands still. I know who it is before I even see their faces. I can smell their obscure, expensive perfume, and I can see the vape from the jewel pen billowing beneath the hospital doors. It's my best girlfriends, Violet and Beatrice. The good time train has arrived. The girls are in town, honey. Violet's curly hair hovers at the top of her head like a beautiful brunette halo. Beatrice is wearing a pretty pale blue dress. Their eyelids hang halfway down the whites of their eyes, like perhaps they're a bit stoned, but they look so hot that every male doctor and shackled prisoner patient stares at them like they're Bella and Gigi Hadid. Only they're better than Bella and Gigi. These girls have the kind of deep leather-bound souls that no celebrity offspring could ever even dream of possessing. The next thing I know, all of us, the whole motley crew, is packed into a tiny room where I'm about to have my finger sewn back on. "Have you taken any drugs tonight? I need to know," barks the nurse. Her gaze shoots daggers into my face. Ouch. "Just alcohol," I say smugly, because if this were 4 years ago, I would have likely had to answer a shameful yes, which would mean they wouldn't give me pain medication, and I would have to suffer through a finger surgery and feel the agony of that whilst coming down off drugs. God, it's so nice to grow up and not do terrible things like snort drugs into your nostrils, isn't it? The nurse can actually tell that I'm not lying. I suspect she's a former party girl, and former party girls always know if people are on or off drugs. Our drug judgment is amazing, and I'm telling you, it never fails. I could tell you what drugs you took 3 days ago. My party girl instincts are that spot on. Fuck, if only I could monetize that skill. Everyone needs to leave so they don't faint, the cute, nerdy doctor orders. His cheeks are flushed because he's nervous because of Violet and Beatrice. "My dad is an oncologist," Violet says smugly. She saddles up right next to me and fearlessly stares at my dangling finger that everyone has been schooled not to look at. "I'm not scared of blood," Luke says, batting his long, irresistible lashes. "I'm not going anywhere," Ryan says, stroking my Chanel child. "I'm her wife," Megan says, putting her hands on her hips as if to say, "Do you want to get sued for homophobia, dude?" "I made her wedding dress," Beatrice says, pointing to Megan. "I should be here too." The doctor chuckles and injects me right in the hand with a giant needle full of pain meds. "I heard about that asshole who ghosted you. The nerve," I roar to Violet right as the needle penetrates the delicate skin on my hand. "I know, I'm taking a break from dating. Men in New York are the worst." Violet isn't wearing makeup, and in her little shorts with her little chicken legs swinging up and down from the operating table she's perched on, she looks about 14. "We are the worst," the doctor agrees as he begins dutifully sewing the tip of my finger back onto the rest of my finger. "I think my Ambien is kicking in," says Beatrice. Her pupils are big, and she looks like she's on acid. Watching a finger get sewed on after dosing herself with Ambien has got to be really trippy. "My edibles are just kicking in now too," Violet says. All of a sudden, she's not the confident doctor's daughter. She's high off the marijuana mints I gifted her after my last LA trip. Those bitches are strong. I can tell the heaps of blood and the destroyed finger and the shackled prisoner next to us are starting to understandably give her a really bad high. "Have you guys read the book Luckiest Girl Alive?" I asked the group, suddenly feeling very literary. "No," everyone responds in perfect unison, including the doctor. "Oh my God, guys, it is so good. It's about this girl who practically gets gang raped in high school by these preppy douchebags, and now she's a super successful magazine editor who's about to get married to this preppy douchebag who strikes freakish parallels to the guys who actually raped her, only you find out that this Columbine school shooting... Wait, I don't want to give it away from you. It's just really good." The doctor seems intrigued by the book. Suddenly, I decide he's nice and not wearing a wedding ring, and I should totally hook him up with Violet and Beatrice. So what if they're tripping out? Those girls, they can handle anything. They're party girls. "So girls, what's it like being single in New York?" I ask, emphasizing the word single. They both launch into respective long monologues about how the dating scene in New York is more treacherous than going to TJ Maxx during a sale. Not that either of them have ever been to a TJ Maxx. Violet's golden skin is taking on a strange green shade. She needs to go home before this high gets really bad, and she ends up in the psych ward strapped to a gurney. I look over at Beatrice. Her eyes are slits, and I can tell she's dreaming while awake. I don't want her to do something bizarre in the hospital. I want my pain meds, and with these delinquents around me, no one's gonna prescribe me Vicodin. I tell the girls to leave. Gratitude radiates off their bodies. A nurse comes waltzing in. "We're gonna give you Percocet," she purrs. "I love a Percocet moment," Ryan practically sing-songs. I shoot him a bitchy look. "Do not screw this up for me, boys." My inner junkie is protective of her pills. I nod like a nun who has just been offered to use Bible to recite to a room full of naughty children. You know, business as usual, Percocet. Wait, Luke says, his tone very serious. I fear he's gonna tell me that my finger has been sewn on backwards. Can we take a moment and process the Jeffrey Epstein saga? We all sigh. The sex offender disgraced financier has just been found dead in his jail cell this very morning. He had all the tea on Trump and was apparently going to spill it. There is so much to unpack here. Well, I don't think it was a suicide for one, I say. I am now fully sober and feel like I'm in a coffee shop on the Upper West Side talking politics while doing the Times crossword puzzle. We spend the next 10 minutes waiting for the doctor as we process Jeffrey Epstein. A woman wails in guttural pain, and the shackled prisoner finally falls asleep. Thank you guys so much for this evening. Please feel free to go to the bar and grab a drink and some snacks and share your Lit Salon moment. Also up here, there's fabulous Instagrammable moments, so go check that out. They'll email you once you've done it, and you might even get a chance to have your picture on a billboard in Times Square. I'd like to call everyone out to the stage for a curtain call. And before we wrap up, let's give it up for this amazing talent. Yay! Oh, sorry. We're not good at curtain calls. But one last note, I want to say thank you to all of you guys, because an audience is like another character. It's like another entity. And you guys were so there and so with us the whole time, and just your intense focus really elevated all of us. And I think if we can take some of that amazing listening energy and bring it to the outside world where no one likes to listen to each other, that is just going to make the world a better place. So thank you so much. I love you, and till the next one.